All right, this is it. I'm at the dealership. I've never had a new car in my entire life, so I'm actually quite nervous. Now I have to admit, I've seen this car before. I've never driven one. I've never driven any of this, like this engine gearbox combination, but I have actually seen the car. Although the salesman, Steve, doesn't know that. So anyway, I'm gonna go see him. Yep, I bought a Prado. That Prado. Now, obviously, it didn't look like that when I picked it up from the dealership about 10 days ago, but it is that car. It's a 2020 VX, so it's the one with the new motor that came out only about 3 weeks ago. I ordered it about 2 months ago, and I'm absolutely stoked. But let's get back to the dealership. Shit. We're a few minutes early, but I've never even seen it with number plates. So hopefully Steve will be here in a minute, and we'll take the bloody thing for a drive. I'm so excited. I saw it yesterday without plates, and it kind of just looked like a generic, like a nothing vehicle, and seeing it now, you know, ready to go. Shit. So this is Steve. Steve is the guy who sold me the car.
Hi.
And gave us a bloody good price. And mate, I'm absolutely stoked with this.
Oh, fantastic. It's an awesome colour as well.
I hadn't seen this. I actually came in yesterday to check the light and stuff so I could film here, and it was here, and I was like, oh shit, that's it. I wanted to sort of look away, but I'm blown away by this colour. It's actually a lot deeper and more sort of complex than than the old one. It's like so much sort of, you know, that kind of metallic-y green. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it looks bloody good. I'm absolutely stoked.
Are you happy? Are you happy?
I'm stoked.
Yeah, good. So how long is it going to stay like this for?
The weekend. So it's Friday now. And then the mods start on Monday morning.
Fantastic.
So, actually, no, it won't even stay like this for the weekend because I'm going to bolt a tow bar onto it. I'm going to take a recip saw to the bumper and put a tow bar on it. So that's the last time that's going to look like that. So, do you want to do some paperwork or anything like that?
Come on over with Alan.
Cool.
And we're rock and roll.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is awesome. All right, I'll give you a proper rundown in a minute. I'm going to get this thing out into the sun and see if see how it sparkles. I reckon it's pretty good. All right, first time I've started this thing. I don't like that it says Land Cruiser. It's not a Land Cruiser, it's a Prado, and I'm cool with that. Jeez, this thing's fancy. All right. Oh, I'm like a pig in shit. Let's go for a burn. Woo! Right, now I need to go get my drone. It's just hovering over there. Now I can see you looking at me thinking, what the hell is wrong with you? Why did you buy a Prado? Why didn't you get a Cruiser? Well, or a Hilux, or a Ranger, or an Amarok, or a D-Max, or anything. Why a Prado? Well, a few key reasons. But what I'm going to start with is why I got rid of the 80 series. Now, a few weeks ago, one of my friends was killed in a car accident on their way to see us. It was in a similar car to my old one, and my wife and I had a chat, and it dawned on us that if that was to happen to us, if we were to kill someone or be killed, or one of us be killed because we wanted the cool factor of a solid axle old school car, I couldn't live with myself. I know my friend whose car it was is not having a good time right now at all. His partner was killed in the crash. And for the sake of a little bit of money, okay, quite a lot of money, to have that peace of mind knowing we've done everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen to us was 100% worth it. As well as the fact that 30-year-old cars break a lot. And it was getting pretty tiresome fixing that car every weekend. But now specifically, why the Prado? Well, we didn't really want a ute because they just don't drive that well, unfortunately, compared to a good wagon. It's just the ride quality is not there, the articulation's not really there. You know, you can argue all day long, but we test drove a few, and that's basically the conclusion we came to. So we thought, well, it's also cheaper to deck out a wagon than it is to do a ute, you know, because I'd want to go a tray and all that sort of stuff. So we got a wagon. Now, the different wagons you can choose from, you can get the Mux, the Fortuna, the Prado and the 200. They're kind of the front runners, I guess. The MUX and the Fortuna, just too small. So that leaves the 200 and the Prado. Oh, sorry, the Y62 Patrol. Obviously that's in there. Petrol, fuel consumption, yeah, you guys get the drift. I know they're not that bad. I know they're actually pretty decent. They actually use less fuel than a 200 series when you tow, but yeah, we're not towing 3.5 tons, and I wanted something that was diesel, good fuel availability, doing long trips, and good inbuilt range, and that's exactly what this thing has. Which actually gets me back to the 200 series. Why not the 200? Well, fuel consumption on the 200 series is pretty average. It uses a lot. It puts out a lot of power, but you do pay for it. This thing has 500 Newton meters. The 200 series has 650, so it has more power, but the trade-off is, you know, quite a lot, probably 50% more fuel. You know, this thing does about 10, they do about 15. That's, you know, they're ballpark figures, you know. This thing's got a built-in 150 litre tank. I don't need to touch that. It's perfectly good to go. It's got a wheel on the back, which I actually love because it means I don't have to pull the wheel out to put it on the back to, you know, to get that sort of good range, which cuts down weight. That's another factor. The 200 series weighs a lot more than this, and you definitely pay for that in all kinds of things. Then there was also safety, as I discussed earlier. To get the same safety features that this thing has in a 200 series, you have to get a Sahara. And this is where the biggest thing comes in. The Sahara is $50,000 more expensive than that. That has radar-guided cruise control, air-conditioned leather seats. Yes, air-conditioned, not just heated, air-conditioned. It has center console, you know, aircon fridge. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which the 200 series still doesn't. Inside, it's beautiful. The only thing the 200 series Sahara really has over it is its TV screens in the back, which, you know, I'm not actually interested in. I think if you want to get your kids to watch something, you could probably give them an iPad. Who the hell's using DVDs? It has a sunroof, which I don't want. It has KDSS, which I do want. It's a real shame this doesn't have KDSS. And I'll get back to why I didn't get the Kakadu on that in a minute. And hold on. I wrote a few other things down. Capability-wise, it's a tourer. The 200 series, you know, you can put 35s on it. You can make it really, really awesome awesome off-roader. This is a tourer. It's not a hardcore off-roader. 33s and a 2-inch lift have done me for a long time. I very rarely get stuck. Also, this thing has a rear locker, which the 200 series doesn't. It's still got the same sort of traction control system. It doesn't have the crawl control, which is again a shame, but that's a Kakadu option, or not option, standard thing. Then there's why I didn't get the Kakadu. The Kakadu, you can't GVM upgrade. That means the Kakadus only have a weight capacity of about 650 kilos, and that is not enough. 650, put on bar work, fill the thing with fuel, put 4 people in it, put a set of drawers in it, roof rack, awning, and you're at 650 already. That's before you've even filled your water tank, put anything in the drawers, hitched a trailer on, thrown your swags in the roof, your bags. There's no way you can keep that thing under GVM if you travel with more than 2 people, which we do. We also have have a small boat, we have a little trailer, all that kind of stuff. All that stuff adds to your GVM, the ball weight of the trailer adds to your GVM. And if we're going to spend all this money, I want to make it legal. So the VX, you can get a GVM upgrade, which I'll go through later on, but this is GVM upgraded now to 3,500 kilos. So that makes the load capacity about 1,200-ish kilos, which is significantly better, and it means that no matter what we do, decking it out wise, it will be under GVM. Install a tow bar. Now, I'm a cooking channel. I don't do installation videos. If you want to watch this, I don't know. If you want to watch an installation video, search elsewhere on YouTube. This is going to be a montage. Blank canvas. So, as you saw yesterday, I put the tow bar on. In order to put the tow bar on, I had to pull the back seats out. So that was the very back seats out. Not an issue because I was never going to keep them. They're in the shed and they're not going back in, probably ever. So this is going to get a full kit out from the guys here at Pro Camp Solutions. And look, what I'll do is I'll probably better off running you through it when we're actually done. And I'll take you through the whole process. But at the moment, it's very empty, very weird, and I'm really keen to see what these guys do. These guys do work like I haven't seen before. This is nothing off the shelf. They hide secret compartments in there, which is something they actually take quite a lot of pride in. They usually chuck something extra in there for you. So I'm keen to see what they do. I don't know how they're going to sneak a secret compartment in here because I'm going to be here every day, but I have faith in them for doing something dodgy. Anyway, let's get to it.
Yeah, right.
All right. So the drawers were really straightforward. They took no time. I'm full of shit. These have taken 6 full days of serious work. This is an absolute masterpiece. So now, let me get the guys in. So Rob is our master craftsman who literally did every cut here. And Jan did a lot of the base plate and stuff, and did like a lot of the plumbing and that. He did a heap of work, and also facilitated the whole thing. These guys are from Pro Camp Solutions, so massive shout out, because the amount of work that has gone into this is mind-blowing. I've installed a few sets of drawers in my time, and they take about an hour and a half. These are a little bit different.
Yeah.
How many times do you reckon you measured the fridge?
Once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every 30 seconds for about 4 days.
I'm so confident in every measurement I make.
And this was the boy in the end of the day that made the whole thing just that little bit trickier.
Yeah. So I said to them, okay, I've got this fridge, and I said I've got these crash pods, and I said, can you see if you can make both of these fit? Now they measured the width of the car, added the wood, then took the fridge, and then what was left was a drawer that, if you divide the height of the fridge by 3 and use the remaining room, fits a crash pod absolutely to the millimetre. So I'd say thank you for that planning, but let's be honest, I just bought the right car. I just eyeballed it.
Thanks for bringing a car that fits the unit.
So the only kind of thing we lost is that we lost about 15 mil of passenger legroom because the seats in the back slide forward, so we had to slide them forward about 15 mil to fit this fridge. So that's my fault. I asked them to, asked for a giant fridge to go in there. But now that all the measurements and stuff, because you guys haven't done a Prado here, like
No, not a new spec Prado like this one, or a 150 for that matter.
Yeah, so it was a whole new thing, and that's why obviously it was time consuming. Now, there are some really fun things in here. I'll start. So the drawers are they're drawers. But they've got a few cool features. They come all the way out. So that's the back of the drawer there. That is so bloody useful. I don't know if you've seen me on my old videos, levering out the camp oven every time. It was such a nightmare. So that's all sorted. 3 drawers. I mean, this middle one actually just kisses the stainless tailgate. Sorry, the stainless table.
I think we made that dual purpose so it cleans the surface every time you open it.
Speaking of cleaning the surface, my stainless steel table, which will be insanely useful, actually kisses the carpet just a little bit. So I'm going to make sure it's clean before I put it away, but that is amazing. And then, make it even cooler, pull the fridge out, and it comes out as well. It's got a leg for extra rigidity, so I keep the leg in here, chuck it underneath. That is going to be, I mean, like this is, I live here. And everything is just just glides nicely. There's a K-On 30 litre water tank under there, and a K-On table. By the way, if you own a Prado or an FJ, or actually a whole bunch of different cars, and you haven't been on the K-On website, you are seriously missing out. I discovered it for the first time. I was watching a YouTube channel, Shuey's Ventures or something. He's got a Prado 150, and he was like, "Oh, I went shopping in K-On and bought all these things." I'm looking at the things he bought, and I was like, "I've never seen any other company make anything like that." They do seriously good R&D, really good. Like just looking at, go on, treat yourself. It's like just products that fix problems that you thought weren't fixable. Like the fact that I got an off-the-shelf 30 litre water tank for a Prado is awesome.
Yeah, I mean from a fitting perspective as well, when you gave us the kit, it went in so easy. You don't need a specialist place that install this sort of stuff. They make it extremely simple and straightforward, and it just works perfect.
It's
Everything
huge.
just goes in.
Very user friendly, isn't it?
Yeah.
That cargo barrier is
Cargo
been in and out,
barrier,
I don't know, 8 times or something, a minute max.
That's
Take
it.
it in and out. It's so easy. And it's really neat, and it's actually quite strong. We didn't think it would be this strong.
Yeah,
and it's really good. I've got a 1500 watt inverter mounted to it. I've got pockets. I've got red vision screen, and it's really rigid. It's great, and wiring running up it and stuff. Now, there are some really cool bits. So this is for a shower. So you've got a little hose here that goes into a bucket or whatever of hot water, and then here's your shower head, so you can do that, and a little pump in there, which is already primed because these are sealed. And there's another pump here, and that goes to a hose reel, which is 9 meters, and does that. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen in a wagon. Oh, I'm getting the hose reel. Oh, it's running over my. So I haven't connected my airbags yet. So there's like all this airbag line back there, because we haven't had a lot of time. And this air hose on the other side. So it's a 9 meter air hose connected to my ARB twin. I mean, that self-priming pump and everything all drawing up from there. Also, I can refill my own tank with these. So I'll throw a jerry or two in the back. And if I, because it's only 30 litres, it's not quite enough. Also, I don't like to keep all my eggs in one basket, so one tank is never a particularly good idea. Always carry a jerry as a backup. Yeah. So I've just got a second hose that goes straight into the tank, and I can pump out of a jerry into my own tank and refill it. Super simple. What else is there back here? We've got these barred tie-down rails, which are really sturdy actually. Now, this is nothing yet. It's actually, it's been cut out, it's ready to go.
It's a box.
It's a box. That is going to be airbag controls and switches and stuff, but we just didn't have time. In a bit I'm going to show you the electronics. I would show you the other side of the drawers, but it kind of gives away what I'm going to show you next, which is the electronics getting done. I'm sure I've got some footage of the back of the drawers before they're finished.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at this whole unit and how tight it fits as well, it's sort of hard to believe that there's a 150 amp hour battery powering this whole thing with that as a faceplate as well, with not a massive amount of wires and stuff running through.
There's the inverter, the lithium, the manager, the an ARB twin compressor with a tank, like all hidden behind the seats, and yeah, it was
for the sake of 15 mil leg room.
15 mil leg room.
What we gained in the possibility to mount all that stuff was pretty shocking.
I mean, I've only lost, compared to my Cruiser, now for reference, an 80 series Cruiser has the same floor footprint as a 100 series and a 200 series. It's actually that they take the same drawers. These drawers here are only about 70 mil shorter than what I had in the 80 series. So there's I find them more usable because they come all the way out. So this is like, I genuinely couldn't be happier. But let's just give you an idea of how much work really went into this. So I probably recorded about 50% of the work, and I'm going to play it as a montage now. Isn't that unbelievable? That doesn't even include the last, like today and a whole bunch of other things. And like, you know, we're getting in here at 8, leaving at 7. It's been stupid. But the results are phenomenal. So you guys, thank you so much for an unbelievable effort. And if you're at the show, these guys are going to be at the same stand as Heiner. So Perth show, so definitely come down to see them. And if you want any custom work, obviously don't just do these. Behind me is a big caravan. While we were here, there was an ambulance.
There was an ambulance as well that recently got finished as well. So yeah, pretty much anything, and it's I mean that's the point of custom. So whatever fits the space is what we'll use.
That's it. I mean, if I got an off-the-shelf set of drawers, I'd have to use a drop slide. I'd have to use a whole bunch of the other things that are going to weigh twice as much. Oh, that's the other thing. This drawer system weighs so much less than my 2-drawer system I had in the 80. And on the 2-drawer system, I had to have another 45 kilos on top, which was the drop slide. Then I had to have a cage over that, and you know all that stuff. It adds up really fast. This is like, I reckon this rear setup is a third of the way to the 80 series rear setup, because you took all the steel out of it. And the wood as well. I mean, it's not your generic off-the-shelf Bunnings type of wood. You know, we do source proper lightweight, authentic marine ply from a proper decent wood supplier as well. So, and that as well, you know, as simple as it is, adds up. You know, especially when everything starts going together, that can add up pretty bad if you're not using the right materials. Yeah, and everything's painted, everything's sealed, because I've had shitty ply drawers that were homemade, came in an old car, didn't cost me anything. I drowned the back of the car. They swelled up like Nana's ankles within an hour, and you couldn't use them. Like, I ended up actually busting, just hammering off the ends of them, and so that they sort of push in a little bit, and then just letting all my shit in there, and that's how they were the rest of the trip.
One of the things that I just want to add, like with the base plate and stuff, that a lot of people that want to sort of take on these sort of things themselves, which, you know, go for your life. You know,
absolutely.
Because you want to
quickly
do it.
realise the value.
But the one thing that I can just add to, especially making sure that a system is suited for a car, is to always try and pick up OEM tie downs.
Yeah.
We've had cases where people come in with drawers that they've just drilled holes straight through the skin. Not even nut-sirted it, just straight bolted through. It actually sheared open. We had to drill out 2 extra holes, weld the whole thing shut. And the OEM points are right there, and it's just a matter of building, certain sections up to marry up with the tie downs and using the right bolts. Like we had to go out twice and source them.
Yeah.
And they're available off the shelf, but it's just, make sure you use the proper stuff, especially that, because you don't want to get in an accident and the whole thing just goes.
Yeah.
It's going to wreck your day.
Mate, this is... I'm sorry. Oh, did I show you the... I did show you underneath here. That. They didn't tell me that was going to be in there. They just did it. So, got spare hoses and stuff like that. And that can come all the way out, and you can just remove that for cleaning and whatever. So, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Spot to chuck the old cast iron pipe once it comes off the fire. You don't have to worry about burning carpet and stuff that. So.
Oh, it's so good. So good. I still haven't worked out my cooking configuration in here, but I'll learn that from experience.
It's part of the fun now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having a new setup.
Get rid of the water in it. It's just so satisfying. I get a kick out of it every time I use it. I'm like,
Yeah, all the work went into drawers, and the one thing that triggers them is a hose reel.
It's those little details, though. Like, I've had drawers, I've never had a hose reel.
Yeah. But it's that little thing. I mean, like you say, you've come up from experience, and using certain things, and it's one of those little add-ons now, which in your world might be luxury and all that,
Yeah, oh,
and
absolutely.
it adds another, fun thing to your setup that you can pull out and use
Yeah.
and have something that's very functional.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go home, and I think you guys deserve a beer.
I reckon that's a good call.
Or we'll start on the next one.
Yeah, the next one's already ready.
Get that one done.
All right, I'll see you at the show.
Yeah.
Cheers, fellas.
Hopefully after the show we get to see some red dust on this floor
Oh,
change.
there'll be some red dust. Hopefully it's not on this. But
Yeah.
And come over to the stand and get some free food.
Nah.
Cocktails.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rob's a bit of a meat eater, so
I
yeah.
like food.
Yeah, I'll sort you out. Wicked.
Awesome.
Cool. Cheers.
All good.
Cool.
Now, you might be wondering why this video is called the 10-year tourer. It's not because I want to keep this car for 10 years, although it's not out of the question at all. It's because I've decided that everything that goes on this car should be designed to last 10 years or more. That means nothing crap is going on it. I've built cars cheaply before. I've had quite a lot of cars. I've had 14 in my life, 15 now. And I've built a few four-wheel drives, and I've put lots and lots of cheap stuff on them in the past, and I always replace it. I always do it twice, and it always ends up costing me more money. So this time I've said, nah, do it once, do it right. I live in the Kimberley. I can't afford to have cheap crap gear going wrong on me. So also I can't afford to use like cheap electronics that can catch fire and potentially lose that car. That would be, an absolute bloody travesty. So I want to sort of demonstrate how I think cars should be built once. Nothing is, look, obviously it's built to a budget. I don't have unlimited money, but I'll wait and do things properly as opposed to just rushing into doing everything. Although we are getting quite a lot done in the next few days, as you'll see. I think that's probably all we've got time for today, because I've got to get this video out in a few days, and I still got a bit more filming to do and a lot of editing to do, and a lot of work on this car to do. It's still got a bit to go. I'll see you probably in about 2 weeks with the next episode of the Tourer build, and with that we'll do roof rack, some awning and that sort of stuff. If you're at the four-wheel drive show, you'll see it with a bit of that stuff already on it. Also, we're going to look at paint protection. Bar work is obviously going to happen, but the bar I've got coming isn't ready till the end of November, so I'll probably end up driving it back up to Broome naked and then sorting something out up there. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.